Some gates cannot be opened by force. They open only when you become part of them. I came to on the cold ground. Fog hung in the air like thick smoke, hiding everything around. Before me stood enormous iron gates, so ancient they seemed to have outlived more than one human generation. On their surface glowed luminous runes as if alive. I took a step. The earth beneath me shuddered as if roots were stirring under it. When I touched the metal, the gates began to open on their own. A dull grinding, like a massive beast. Through the fog came a whisper. Welcome home. Behind me nothing. No tracks, no road, no past. As if something or someone had transported me here. Inside the gates, silhouettes began to move. Tall, too elongated to belong to humans. They stood motionless, waiting, and I understood these gates didn't let me in. They opened to release something else. Houses shouldn't watch you, especially if no one lives in them. Beyond the gates lay a village, but it wasn't abandoned, it was burned from the inside. The houses stood intact, roofs uncollapsed, doors in place. Yet every house stared at me with empty black windows like eyes. No wind stirred curtains or doors. Not a sound, no animals, no footsteps, no life. I entered the first house. On the table, a cup still holding the ghost of water. The bed was made. And in the corner, an ashen silhouette of a person, like the echo of a final scream. I stepped back outside. The windows that had been empty now stared straight at me. Only then did I understand. The houses are watching. The village is alive, and it remembers me. Some nights don't begin with darkness. They begin with a sound that shouldn't exist. Night fell fast over the abandoned village, as if the sky were hiding something it didn't want me to see. I found shelter in one of the intact houses, a small wooden hut standing at the very edge of the square. Inside, everything was frozen in time. A bowl on the table, a child's toy lying on the floor, a candle that had never finished burning. I lit it. Outside, the windows of the other houses stared at me, their hollow frames glowing faintly in the dark. I tried to ignore it, but something about the night felt arranged. Too quiet, too complete, like a stage set for a play I didn't audition for. When the wind finally came, it didn't brush the house. It circled it, pacing around the walls like a hungry animal searching for a way in. The door shuddered. Once, twice, three times, not from the wind. Slow, deliberate, leather soles on stone, footsteps that stopped right outside the door. My candle began trembling violently, melting wax onto my hand. I clamped my palm over it, trying to steady the flame. Then knock. A single tap on the wood. Too soft to be hostile, too intentional to be natural. I didn't breathe. Another knock. Not louder. Just closer, like the knocker leaned in, placing its ear against the wood, listening for my heart. I stepped back. The door handle twitched. Once. Then again. I reached for a piece of furniture to brace the entrance, but before I could move, something slid under the door. A shadow, thin, human, stretching across the floor like liquid night. It stopped at my feet and curled around my toes. I jumped back, but the shadow didn't belong to me. It wasn't cast by the candle. It was cast by something standing, and then through the keyhole I saw it. A single eye staring back at me, pale, reflective, watching, waiting. The footsteps began again, this time walking away, but the shadow remained. It crawled slowly toward the back room, slipping under the cracks, spreading across the floorboards like a stain searching for a... I followed its path to the closed back door. On the wood, written in ash and soot, were words I don't remember writing. Don't open, not at night. But as I stared at the warning, something on the other side of the door whispered back. A whisper carried, some shadows follow the light, others ignore it completely. I didn't sleep after the back door whispered my name. The candlelight became my only anchor in a house that no longer felt like shelter. Every time the flame flickered, I felt something shift behind me, just out of sight. A shadow moved across the wall, not mine, not shaped like anything human. It crawled upward, stretching long fingers toward the ceiling as if tasting the air. Shadows shouldn't move without light. They shouldn't move independently, and they certainly shouldn't turn their heads. But I saw one do exactly that. It paused on the far wall, a long, shapeless silhouette with a bent neck and hollow center. I raised the candle. The shadow didn't react. It wasn't being cast. It was watching. A second shadow appeared beside it. Then they pressed together, overlapping into a single tall form that began to sway, like it was gathering breath. The boards beneath my feet creaked as if reacting to pressure from something standing right in front of me, though the room looked empty. Then the candle went out. Darkness swallowed everything in a single breath. I froze, not because I couldn't see, but because I heard movement. Soft dragging, feet on wood, coming closer. I fumbled for a match, but my hands were shaking too violently to strike it. The steps circled me once, twice, then stopped behind me. A breath touched the back of my neck. I turned and saw the shadows had returned to the walls, but now they were facing me. I relit the candle. Its flame wavered, uncertain, revealing the shapes more clearly. The shadows had mouths, open, silent, screaming. On the far wall, one of them detached itself, peeling away like wet paint. It hit the floor with a dull thud, pulling itself forward with long arms made of nothing but darkness. The air grew colder. The breath behind me returned. Then all the shadows whispered in unison. "You shouldn't have come back." The room spun. My candle flared wildly, and the moment the flame touched the crawling shadow, it vanished. But the others stayed, waiting, tracking every movement I made. And in the flicker of the candle, I saw something horrifying. My own shadow stopped following me. It was standing still and smiling. Some people don't vanish. They get taken back by the place they belong to. By morning, the shadows had gone silent. They didn't disappear, they simply stopped moving, as if waiting for something or someone. Outside, a faint light bled through the fog. It wasn't sunlight. It was cold, pale, washed out, like the world itself hadn't decided whether morning should come. Houses leaned inward toward the square, watching me from every window. I stepped outside, expecting the village to feel empty. It wasn't. A figure stood in the middle of the road. A man, or what used to be one. He faced away from me, body stiff, head tilted unnaturally to the side as if he were listening to something miles beneath the ground. I called out to him. He didn't answer, didn't move, didn't breathe. I walked closer, careful with every step, until I was just a few feet behind him. That's when I saw the footprints, hundreds of them, leading up to him. Deep in the mud, like someone had been running desperately, frantically, toward this very spot. But there were no footprints leading away, only toward him. I reached out to touch his shoulder. His body collapsed, not like a person falling, Like ash, he disintegrated in front of me, collapsing into a pile of black, warm dust. No bones, no skin, just a hollow outline. And inside the ash, a single trail of muddy footprints continued forward. Footsteps that did not belong to me. Footsteps that appeared after he had vanished. Slow, measured, heading deeper into the village. I swallowed hard and followed. Each print was perfect, sharp, heavy, as if a living person had made them. But the village, when the trail reached a small stone well in the center of the square, the prints ended abruptly. Not around the well, inside it. The last footprint rested on the edge of the stone ring, the mark of someone climbing down. The air around the well vibrated softly, like a breath escaping a throat that wasn't meant to breathe anymore. When I leaned forward to look inside, something shifted. A faint glow, red, flickering far below. And a whisper rose from the darkness beneath. He didn't disappear, you just arrived too late. I staggered back from the well, heart pounding. But the whisper wasn't done. It continued softly, climbing the walls of the well. And soon it will be your turn. The pile of ash behind me trembled lightly, as if something underneath